Hi, I'm Billy Blackwood. Through my years in music ministry, I've had the privilege of meeting many great people and making a lot of great friends. Some have been friends for literally decades, and some have been more recent. It's my hope that you will enjoy getting a glimpse behind the scenes and into the real lives of my friends. Sit back and enjoy as you watch Billy Blackwood and Friends. The chimes of time ring out the news, another day is through. Someone slipped and fell. Was that someone you? You may have longed for added strength, your courage to be disheartened, for I have news for you. It is no secret what God can do, what He's done for others, He'll do for you. Wide open, He'll pardon you. It is no secret what God can do. There is no night, for in His light you'll never walk alone. Always feel at home wherever you may roam. There is no power can conquer you when God is on your side. Just take Him at His promise. Don't run away and hide. It is no secret what God can do, what He's done for others, He'll do for you. Wide open, He'll pardon you. It is no secret what God can do. It is no secret what God can do. Hi, I'm Billy Blackwood, and you're watching Billy Blackwood and Friends. My guest today is my dear friend, Kelly Willard. I'm so thrilled and honored to have Kelly on our program today. As you will hear in the next several minutes, incredible talent, incredible voice, incredible heart. And Kelly, welcome. It's so good to have you here.
Thank you, Billy. I'm glad to be here with you.
We first met when we were teenagers.
Yes.
At a music camp in Texas, Waxahachie, Texas.
Stamps Blackwood School of Music.
Blackwood School of Music, and you were this little redheaded girl from Winter Haven, Florida, who, I don't know why I have a memory of you in the college that we were in. The music school was held in a college there in Waxahachie, Texas.
Yeah.
And I remember there was not air conditioning, and it was in the middle of the summer. It was really hot, but the third floor had little practice rooms with pianos.
Oh, yeah.
And for some reason, one of my vivid memories, or probably my first memory of you, is hearing you in one of those practice rooms. I heard you before I saw you, and I heard you playing and just worshiping the Lord. And I don't know, you're not, I guess, really supposed to be a fan of people, but I've been an admirer ever since, just from what I heard that day.
Aw.
And God has used you in so many ways through the years, and your songs and your records. And tell us, there are a lot of folks maybe watching today who are not familiar with you or your music. So kind of give us a little history back up, and give us history maybe from the music school on, and what God's been doing.
All right. I think I was 15 when I met you. So, because I know I was 15 at that music school. And then I was playing the piano for my church in Winter Haven, where I was born and raised, Florida. And I went from playing for my church to move to Nashville and played for Jake Hess Sound,
Right.
which was his family group. And then I ended up moving out to California to play for the Archers. And then I moved to Oklahoma City to play for a group called Seth. And then after that, a group called Harlan Rogers and Friends. So I was basically a person in the background, playing the piano and occasionally singing backgrounds. But a dear friend who I just mentioned, Harlan Rogers, who had the group Harlan Rogers and Friends, talked me into singing. And he literally had to talk me into singing solos. Then after a couple years, Harlan decided that he wanted to go back with Andre's group, and he moved back to California.
Okay.
And left us in Oklahoma, and was working with the people at Maranatha Music. I was married by that time at the ripe old age of 18.
Oh my.
We had a friend who had been the leader of Seth, the group I was with before Harlan. Anyway, he invited my husband and I out there. Long story short, we ended up moving out to California. And after about a year of playing on different albums and singing backgrounds, Maranatha approached me and said, "Would you like to do a solo album for our company?" And I was blown away at that, I mean,
Yeah.
that was the beginning of recording several albums.
What was the name of the first one?
Blame It on the One I Love.
Oh, Blame It on the One I Love, yes. I didn't know if I knew that record. I could still see that cover, but I didn't know if there was a record before that. But I have Blame It on the One I Love.
You do?
I do.
Okay.
You just, and I think because I knew you as a teenager, when you started releasing solo records, I mean, obviously I knew who you were already. And so it wasn't like someone had to, say, well, hey, you need to listen to this person, because I'd already done that. So, but I remember Blame It on the One I Love. Everybody that I knew just thought that was such a great record. And what'd you follow that up with? I don't remember what was after that.
Next was Willing Heart.
Oh yes, oh my.
And
Was Psalm 139 on Willing Heart? Or was that on Blame It on the One I Love?
That was on the third album, which was called Psalms, Hymns, and Spiritual Songs.
Okay, that's right. Well, I got all of those, I guess.
Yeah.
And then the record that really, it's funny, I start to talk about this and I get emotional, because this record just captured, in my world, captured a generation. And that was the record Message from a King. Listen as Kelly plays for you some of the, what I think are some of the greatest Christian songs that have ever been written that just convey the heart of God. Listen, you'll be blessed.
I came into this world to save you. Before the world was made, I knew your name. I am the Savior, and oh, the love that I have for you, my child. I know the world around you is in darkness. You're hated by the enemy of your soul. I am almighty, and oh, the love that I have for you, my child. Can you hear me? Will you answer? Can you hear me? Will you follow me? I've tasted all the things that come against you, my child. They fell to the ground beneath Golgotha's tree. My name is faithful, and oh, the love that I have for you, my child. Can you hear me? Will you answer? Can you hear me? Will you follow? Can you hear me? Will you answer? Can you hear me? Will you follow me? Follow me. Oh, the love that I have for you, my child.
Some of the most beautiful songs and anointed music I have ever heard in my life. And I've heard a lot of music throughout my life, a lot of great gospel and Christian music. But some of the most beautiful and anointed come from this lady. And Kelly, tell people how they can get in touch with you and order some of your CDs or even schedule you for ministry. What's the best way to reach you?
That would be kellywillard.com.
kellywillard.com. That's pretty easy.
Yeah, and it's got my email for correspondence. It's got the phone number for booking.
Okay.
And it's got a music page where all of my product is available.
So www.kellywillard.com. Kelly, tell us, I know some of what God is doing in your life right now, but tell our audience what God's got you up to.
From the time that I mentioned where I began doing albums. Ever since that time, I have sung in churches and prisons over all these years. If it was for God's glory and somebody was asking me to do something, I would do it because God told me, give it away. He told me that a long time ago. Sometimes it would be recording sessions, sometimes it would be churches, sometimes prisons. I had not done very many prisons for maybe 7 to 10 years, and because I've gotten older and probably a couple of generations of kids doing the same thing I was doing in my 20s have come up, you know, and are on the radio now, and instead of me, you know, my concerts have gotten less and less in churches, you know. It was kind of difficult, really, for me. It was hard to understand, hard to take, you know, just hard to swallow, really. And because I'm going, wait a minute, I'm still sitting here waiting for somebody to call and ask me to come sing at their church. You know, where,
I'm still doing what I've always done.
Where are the phone calls, you know? And anyway, it got to where kind of came to the end of my rope, and I kind of had a come to Jesus moment with the Lord. And I came to God, and I said, what is going on? What am I supposed to do? I mean, really, I just was at the end of myself, you know, and like, Lord, what am I not seeing? And when I said, what am I not seeing? He brought, right while I was ranting on him right there, you know, he brought the sweetest memory of the actual feeling of grace and joy that I used to always get in the prisons when I would sing in the prisons. It was like he brought the memory to me, and he let me feel it. And it was like a little spark lit in my heart, or maybe it was still going and I didn't know it. And it flamed in my heart, and I just went, oh man, oh yes, Lord. And I go, if only I could just do that, I would be happy, you know. And it was like he was waiting for me to,
for you to say that,
for me to process that whole thing through and go, well, let's see. My next thought was, well, if I were to do that, only prisons, I'd have to write a letter. And I was like, that's the letter I've never wanted to write, you know, because I had always just prided myself on, you know, not asking people for money, you know. And
so you knew you would have to raise support.
Yeah, I knew that I would have to be supported, you know, by the goodness of the hearts of Christian people, you know. And he, all within just a few minutes, he had me willing to write the letter, already thinking of what to say, and not ashamed to do so. And I just put this letter out as soon as I could. And I have been receiving support to be able to go into prisons all over the country and sing. And it's been the most joyful. And I've gotten a few churches call me too, you know, and so I do those too.
But prisons are definitely the main focus.
There is now, full-time prison ministry, and some of the most precious things have happened in the prisons. And
are these mainly women's prisons, or the
men and women's?
Really?
I mostly sing in men's prisons.
Really?
Yeah. I learn stuff every time I go, you know, and get bigger and bigger pictures of the grace of God. Just I mean, it's just lesson after lesson, and life after life that comes up to shake my hand. And one man, he said, "You know you're doing this unto the Lord while you're coming to see us," you know, and I'm like, I just smile and nod my head, you know, and because it's so humbling, it is just humbling. And some of them are some of the best Christians that there are. I mean, their lives are so committed to Christ. Once they come to the Lord in prison, they are way on fire, you know. And there's this one prison that I go to, I've been to 3 times in the last couple years. It's in Detroit. To go in there, you feel like you're going to church because they are such a tight community of Christian brothers.
My word.
And I mean, they are all praying, singing, shouting, you know, patting each other on the back, and, you know, hugging each other, guys that are just totally a Christian community in prison.
That is so amazing. You know, you never hear about that.
Oh, I know.
I wouldn't. No one would know that if people like you didn't
I'm telling
tell
you.
us, because you know, I tend to think and I tend to hear that, you know, prisons are anything but that. And
Well,
so
there
that's so
is,
encouraging.
from what I understand, there is the dark side. There is, of course, the works of the enemy that
Well, there's always that.
try to go on, you know, but there's definitely the light in the midst of the darkness.
Well, that's great that
And
God is using you in that kind of format. That's fantastic.
praise God. It
Praise
is
God.
the biggest joy to just encourage them.
Something I like to do, and I want to ask your permission to do this today, and I want to sing one of your songs with you.
Absolutely.
I have, like I said, so many of your songs have ministered to me so much, and I know a lot of them, you know, by heart. Earlier today, when we were just sitting here talking, I sang a chorus of one of them to you because they've ministered so much to me. So can we pull out? What about Willing Heart? Can we try Willing? I love that song. If you don't have a willing heart, ask Him to give you one. And this is a great song. So you think we can pull that off?
Yes,
Good deal.
I do.
Well, hey, you may never see this again. I don't know. This is my dear friend Kelly Willard, and I'm Billy Blackwood, and we're going to sing one of Kelly's great songs for you called Willing Heart.
Once I stumbled in the darkness, doing only as I pleased, but I wasn't really happy, and my heart was not at ease. I just didn't have the willingness to follow His commands, till I laid my heart completely in His hands. If you don't have a willing heart, ask Him to give you one. If you can't seem to make a start, trust in His power. For the Lord of love is watching you. He sees what you're going through. He can make a way if you want Him to. Oh, do you want Him to? Then tell Him so.
All the things my heart held on to only fill me with despair, and the road that I was traveling never took me anywhere. Then I knew no satisfaction till I found my rest in Him. Then He filled my heart with gladness once again.
If you don't have a willing heart, ask Him to give you one. If you can't seem to make a start, trust in His power. For the Lord of love is watching you. He sees what you're going through, and He can make a way if you want Him to. Oh, do you want Him to? Then tell Him so. Tell Him so.
Just tell Him so.
Tell Him so.
Tell Him so.
Why don't you tell Him
Why
so?
don't you tell Him
Why
so?
don't you tell Him
He
so?
really wants to
He
know.
really wants to know, because He loves you so. Just tell Him so.
I am so glad you joined us today. I'm your host, Billy Blackwood, and my dear friend Kelly Willard has been my guest today. And I know you've enjoyed these precious songs and this precious lady and her precious heart. And again, if you would like to schedule Kelly to come minister, maybe perhaps you have inroads into a prison, which Kelly is doing all across the country now. You can contact her at www.kellywillard.com. I know she'd love to come, and you can order product there as well. Some of the greatest music I've ever heard, some of the most tender, anointed songs ever written are by this lady, and they'll minister to you. Kelly, thank you so much for coming today. It's been such an honor and a pleasure to have you here.